All right, so welcome back, everybody. And welcome back, Wahnese. So 12:30, we're just gonna get the presentation started. Wahnese has, now we've got the technical stuff worked out. The sound is a little quiet, so we'll just have to super listen. And I will turn down the house music that they have rocking on today. And take it away.
Okay, so as most of you, I think one or two people have come in here. How are you for hearing me?
I'm good.
Okay. My name's Wahnese Antonioni Stevens. I am a commander here in Chetwynd. I've been a police officer since 2000. October 10th, 2000 will be my, or 2024 will be my 24th year. And I've been here for 3 years. So again, I'm trying to extend a year. We'll see what happens. It's looking pretty good for me though. So I'll give you that. I'll give myself a little pat on the back there for that. So with the RCMP and the District of Chetwynd have been working together to organize a Citizens on Patrol. It is, although I've presented the idea to the district, it is spearheaded by the district. They are the ones that that will work towards keeping it going for the next several years after I'm gone. As we all know, like I will only be here for a certain amount of time. As all police officers, they all tend to come in here, do a little bit of time, and then they leave, unfortunately. And I will tell you, our members right now really love it here. So they tend to really like it. We've had in the last couple of years 3 or 4 members extend their time here. So so we've had, as most of you are aware, there's some issues in our Peace Region area with criminal activity, violent crimes, and property crimes and everything else. And we're trying to keep it out of Chetwynd as much as possible. I'm not going to say it's not here in Chetwynd. However, we seem to be a little bit in the safer zone. And what our North District and our E Division people say is kind of untouched so far. So our biggest thing is to try and keep it like that. If we can keep our city and our town free from any of the violence and the crime, and if Fort St. John and Dawson Creek and Tumbler Ridge and everybody in there pushes everybody out of their districts, then they're doing their jobs. My job is to keep it out of Chetwynd, and we're asking for the community to help out with that as well, because it can't just be the police, right? We want to make it a full and community effort. So one of the things that we brought up was community or Citizens on Patrol. And this started off with something so simple as vandalism, right? They call them the boulder lights. And these are the lights that go along the path in the rodeo. So those were being knocked over. It was getting very frustrating because not only is it frustrating that someone has to fix it all the time, but it's quite dangerous. You have electrical wires that are still active out there for any child who's going on their way to school, or animal or person or anything, to touch and potentially severely hurt themselves. And then it came to the graffiti that was happening. We had the graffiti on the schools, graffitis at the Legion. And again, we're trying to keep our community pretty, right? We want to keep it nice looking, to have people coming and living here and supporting us and bringing their families, bringing their businesses, and to keep the community thriving, right? So I'm going to present with you a little kind of a commercial information. It's not very long. It's like 3 or 4 minutes of why our community needs Citizens on Patrol. And then I'll go into a little bit more information on that, okay? Do we need to turn the lights down at all, or can everybody see this?
We turn off the front, if that's okay. So
Sure. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, it's up to you. Let's see if this works. It says press K.
A program like Citizens on Patrol is invaluable to policing services. Police cannot be everywhere all the time. And we play a leadership role in community safety and security. It takes everybody in our community to really deter crime and be proactive in their efforts. Programs such as Citizens on Patrol really take a leadership role as far as reducing crime and deterring thefts, deterring property crimes, deterring persons crimes in a community as a whole. So programs like Citizens on Patrol are the helpers of policing in any community. If you feel like you're interested in a community that doesn't have a C.O.P program, you're really looking to take that initiative to get one started, the basic foundational piece is building those relationships. Reach out to your local RCMP. They will ensure that they get the right person out there to help you through it. And they're really going to foster that relationship as far as the RCMP and the C.O.P in that community. there's a little bit of a process involved in getting it up and running and getting the right people engaged and getting enough people engaged and all the paperwork that's required. So to ensure that you have the right person, both with the RCMP and with the COPs, to really make that connection and get it up and running is imperative.
The most successful groups have a really good relationship with the RCMP. Talk to them a lot, visit with them, invite them to your meetings. The biggest thing we do is patrol. We're just another set of headlights on the road at night, basically. And people see us and they maybe go somewhere else.
We've met some very good people in our group that we've been friends with for many years and continue to be, who are really trusted in the same thing we are, keeping an eye on the community. They're watching what's going on. They're noticing when things are happening that are suspicious or out of the ordinary, and they are concerned for the safety of their children, and they're willing to step out and do something about it.
They are involved with assisting police with be on the lookouts for. So if something comes in over the air, they're out in those different areas looking to see if they can identify a suspect. They're also very, very active as far as community events are concerned. They're out assisting in any way they can with things like traffic control, with our missing children tents. It's an invaluable program. Consider them a very, very strong community partner, and we rely on them in helping keep our community safe.
Good. I'm going to turn that off.
Birds might be distracting.
It'd be distracting, yeah. So that was just like a little information sentence. So C.O.P is the Alberta Citizens on Patrol something agency, not agency, it's association. Yeah, and we are following the C.O.P program because they've got it very well organized. It's very well run. It has a lot of memberships involved and everything else, and it's just very strong. So Chetwynd has joined with the South Peace Crime Prevention Society, which is out at Dawson Creek, and they include Rolla, Dawson Creek, on the way Eris, and Poos Kupi, yep, a number of different areas. So we have just basically moved in with them, and we're all working together now at this point. So having a society is necessary for the C.O.P program for two reasons. Is that it provides insurance for us. So when you're out and about and something does happen, they are the insurance as well, right? Although it'll always go under your own insurance as well. But if something ever happens, that they'll be the insurance. But also too, they provide the funding. That's the biggest thing, right? So our funding is necessary to have the signage. We have signages on our cars when we go out patrolling. You'll have two metal pieces that pretty much slam together and onto
magnetic.
Magnetic. Sorry, yes, thank you. And then also too, we're given coats. So we have a couple of people who are organizing it through the district, through the District of Chetwynd, which is Ellen McAvaney and Kayla McDonald. So those are our two organizers and our two, I guess, coordinators, we can call them at this point. And they're the ones that are going to keep it going after I leave, and just keep things organized. We also have to have a kit that we carry around with us. And in the kit are such things as a first aid kit, pens and pencils, this really cool thing. It's plastic, and it's got like a thing that just fits over your steering wheel. So you're just sitting there watching things. Say we have something where the rec center is always getting vandalized. We put the car out and it just sits there, and you just start marking down who's walking by or what you're seeing and everything else. It's nothing serious because we're not asking you to engage with anyone. And that's the most important thing to realize, that you're not engaging. You're only the ears and eyes on the ground, right? You're listening for things, you're looking for things, and then you're reporting back to the police. And when you report back to the police, that makes us really, really happy. First of all, it brings up our numbers to get more members here. But it also, a lot of the times you'll see something, you'll think it's an absolute nothing information or an absolute nothing that you're looking at. And we'll be able to put that information that you've given us to something else bigger that's happening. So for instance, we see Naomi walking down the street. She happens to be wearing this really bright blue shirt or coat, because she's never in bright colored shirt. We're thinking, what? She's never in bright colored shirt. Why is she wearing a bright colored shirt now? And so we get that information. We learn that that's an actual code for, say, I've got drugs on me right now, right? So it gives us information. You're not going to know that, but we will, right? You're not going to get that information, unfortunately. Again, we have to protect you as citizens, right? But it's things that we can marry up together, right? That we can get from stuff that we know, intelligence that we know, to the intelligence that you're giving us, right? So with this issues that are happening in the area, we have our North District, which is Prince George. They're in charge of basically all of the North within the RCMP. Then we have E Division, which is our headquarters for the RCMP. They're really taking a very serious three-pronged approach to, I guess, battling the drug and gang and property crime and violence that's happening in the piece. And the one approach is to do the basic investigations of these files that keep coming in. So when you have an assault or when you have a break and enter, we have extra people coming in from the district to help us with our investigation. Because a lot of the times that we're having problems with as our own little detachment, there's only one or two of us working at a time. And to try to run down tasks is really difficult. So we have people coming in to support us with those investigations. Secondly, we have the proactive approach, which is we have a uniformed gang enforcement team and another portion of the RCMP that will come out and start talking to people that is of interest. So we know someone who's involved in property crime. We see them driving. They're the people that are going to stop the person and say, hey, what's going on? How you doing? Just making those contacts, right? Letting them know that the police are out there. That's the biggest thing. You hear people, like you go into Reitman's and all of a sudden you hear someone say, hey, how are you doing? You're like, oh, fine. And you hear that every single time you go into a store. The whole reason for that is to let you know that you're being watched, that you've been noticed, right? It makes it a little bit more difficult to go and steal, right? Or to do damage or to do something else. That's the same thing that we're trying to do with having the police, the extra enforcement to go out there and start talking to the people that are known offenders to the police, right? And then the third approach is our intel gathering. And this is what we're doing right here is this. So we've got a rather large budget going to the intel gathering. We're having people coming in. We just came back from one last week from Prince George so that we can get all of our different units that have this information. We sit down and we actually share it.
Get on the same page.
Sorry? Yeah.
Get on the same page.
Yes, yeah. And we share it with each other because a lot of times, just because I'm RCMP doesn't mean I know everything that's going on in my own area. And it was quite fascinating, actually. And it's an organized approach to intelligence gathering of who's who and who's connected to who and everything else. And we're hoping that we're going to get that with the C.O.P. as well by the information that we get. So what we are looking at doing is having you out there, being our eyes and reporting it out to us. First of all, before I continue on, I'm going to actually go into the process of what C.O.P. is. Does anybody have any questions about what I've already said? Okay, so with the C.O.P. being out there, what that means is you're just going out there, you're always in pairs. You're never by yourself, right? So anybody, say this is the number of people that we have in C.O.P. Say everybody here has been security cleared and everything else. You and at least one other person, maybe two other people or three other people will go out and you'll patrol together. Whether that's on foot, whether that's in a car, whether that's on a bicycle, you're just out there patrolling, or whether you're just sitting somewhere, say even at Tim Hortons, right? Just having coffee, and you can do that. Just sit, have coffee, and you're logging your hours, right? You're chit-chatting with each other, and you're seeing who's coming and going, and especially at certain hours of the night, it's pretty interesting to see who comes and goes at certain hours of the night, right?
CCTV.
Yeah, your own CCTV, yeah. And again, you're making notes. You can make mental notes, you can make written notes and everything else, and you're not addressing anything, right? If you see something that's happening right now, that's when you're getting on the phone and 911. You're going to call us and let us know that something's happening. So for instance, you're seeing the rec center being vandalized, someone's trying to go through the front doors, you're going to call the 911 right away, but you're not going to stop them. You're not going to engage with them, right? Because honestly, your safety is much more important than a piece of glass. That's the biggest thing we have to remember, right? So that's how that would work on the onset. To get into the C.O.P., there's an application process, and that's through the Chetwynd Citizens on Patrol. And I actually brought some application forms. So this is our application form here. this is the application to the citizens on patrol. On the next couple of pages, this will give you we're asking you to give us the consent to do a criminal record check, and attached is the criminal record check. If you're interested in doing this, all you need to do is fill this out and bring 2 pieces of ID. I can take it either from here or it gets dropped off at the RCMP detachment. Louise, who's at the front counter, takes like half a day to do all the checks. She gives it to me. And then we're looking at late March, early April, we're going to start doing the training session. So you saw on the video that there was a lady looking inside the cars, and they're marking down. She wasn't actually being evaluated. There were people who were training had already told them, like, this is what you're looking for. What the second person is doing is just writing down license plates, right? So this license plate had, in that car, it had change that you could see right in the console. That is a really good target for someone to break that window just to take the 30 cents that's in the console. So what they do is they write down the license plate, hand it to the RCMP. The RCMP will take it and say, hey, by the way, your vehicle was checked by the C.O.Ps as having this. And then we start educating people, right? By the way, your car is a target for vandalism, right? Or your vehicle's doors were unlocked. Or, and this happens a lot in Chetwynd, I don't know why, people leave their keys right on the console. So you can take a look and their keys are right there. I can't tell you how many times I've just taken a set of keys, left my car and said, come get them at the RCMP detachment. So it's, now they're having to phone. My keys are gone and there's an RCMP card here. I was like, yeah, how do you think you're going to get to the detachment to pick up your keys? And I'll go there and talk to them, but it's really good proactive preventative initiative that we're trying to get going as well, right? So that was more of a training session that you were seeing there. The training session also goes into what your rights are as a citizen patrol person, as a citizen, but also safety protocol, right? How to keep yourself safe, because I know there's a lot of people out there that have, I won't say a lot, there have been some people that have come to me and said, hey, what about this sign that goes on our car? Is that going to make us a target? Everybody knows our cars. It's like, you know what? I mean, it could. However, the chances are very, very unlikely. Everybody knows who you are anyways. I mean, everybody knows where I live. Everybody knows where my son goes to school. Everybody knows where it goes to daycare. And this happened within the first 6 months. We already had someone tell me, I know your son goes to this daycare. Great. What are you going to do? Because chances are you're doing nothing, right? So everybody knows you. So that is an issue. We do put a marking on the car to let everybody know that we are out here. It is visibility, right? Again, someone sees you driving past. It's the same thing as the Reitman scenario, right? They see you pass and it's like, maybe it's not a good day to push over those boulder lights or whatever they were going to do, right? Yeah, so that's.
So is that just within the district of Chetwynd boundaries, or is that extended?
Yeah. So we're going to start within the district at this point, and that's more just to keep it small for the start, right? We're looking at extending it up. I've already talked to the nations up in Westmo and up in Soto. They're very interested in getting involved as well. So if we do have something happening in Jackfish, we've had a couple things already happen in Jackfish, which we're very well aware of. And we're thinking, you know what, we'll tell you, do some patrols up there, right? If we know that that's an issue, we'll say, this is a place that we'd like you to target. You don't have to do anything we tell you to do, right? We would just like you to do that. We would tell you, be on the lookout for, say, we have a person who's wanted for a Canada-wide warrant. We'll give you the descriptors. We'll even give you the name because that's disclosable to anybody. And we'll give you places that they may or may not be. But we'll let you know that stuff, right? Or we're looking for this stolen vehicle. Or we're looking for this vehicle that's involved in a theft. Everybody's on WTF now, and everybody knows what vehicle we're actually looking for now, which we have already identified it, by the way, and it's already been dealt with and being dealt with. But I mean, that's what we would be asking you to look out for, right? Is things like that, be on I think it was a dually white pickup truck is what it was. I can't remember exactly what it was, but we'll ask you to do that. Again, you don't have to do that. It's just a recommendation. If you see it, you let us know. This is where it is, and this is. And again, it's 911. So what you'd also do is you'd check in with dispatch when you'd start out. So you'd start out, your shift starts at 6 o'clock in the nighttime, say, or say it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It doesn't have to be night. That's another thing too. 3 o'clock in the afternoon works. 10 o'clock in the morning works. 3 o'clock in the morning really works too, if you so choose. Just know that your police officers are probably going to be in bed, right? And everybody knows this. Again, that's not a secret, right? So although lately they haven't been sleeping as much. But I can't remember what I was going to say.
That happens to me a lot.
Yeah, you can. You can do. You can choose when to come and do your time, do your patrols, right? Yeah.
You have, at this point, you have, not asking for a schedule, but like, would it be like 2, 4 hours?
If you want to do 1 hour, you can do 1 hour. Yeah. The district has this bag, and it's like it's basically a safety bag. It has a GPS on it. It has a cell phone. Like it has your first aid kit. It has like CPR stuff. In case
You said to a dash video or something like that, or camera.
I don't know if it has a dash camera. This one at this point.
What the last time I was there, they showed me that.
We don't have one. We don't have that bag yet.
Maybe not you, yeah, but the C.O.P, the guy from Dawson Creek, he showed me all that.
Oh yeah, so ours isn't going to. Okay, so yes, there is C.O.P in Dawson Creek. We are not Dawson Creek, and we don't have the equipment that Dawson Creek has yet.
Okay, there you go.
So what they have may not be what we have, right? So yeah, that's all I can say for that. But yeah, you can do, if you want to do 1 hour, if you want to do 2 hours, that is up to you. So what the organizer will do is say these are the blocks of times that are available, but if none of those blocks of times work for you, then you just say, hey, I'd like to do a patrol. Can I do it at this time of the day? And then they'll just sign you in for that,
You're
right?
over. Covering areas that
Sure.
aren't taken care of normally.
Yeah.
And that's what you want. You want 724 coverage if you can get that. I'm retired and I get up in the middle of the night and go for a drive. So, whatever. I'm not on a regular routine. So, and that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
You don't know when anything's going to happen. Could happen any time of day. The more eyes you got, more ears you got, the better coverage you got, the better it's going to be, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. It's just, like I said, it's just trying to get more eyes out on the road and more information back to us so that we can use it, just usable information. Yeah. There's something else that I was going to say. I remember, that we do check in with dispatch, we do check in with our dispatchers. That way dispatchers know you're out there, right? So they have a little, like if you look on our computers, they have like my name, Constable Marquardt's name, Constable Hauser's name, and it tells us where all of us are, right? And then it'll have them as C.O.P in Chetwynd, right? Then at least they know when the phone call comes in, they know where it's coming from, that it's not just random.
Right? Links to
Yeah.
that topic.
And then one last thing is that we are looking at a program, and I don't remember the name of the program at this point, but it's a cell phone call out. So for instance, if we do have a vehicle that had been stolen in Chetwynd, we would send it out to all the C.O.P people who are in our organization and say, this vehicle was just stolen 10 minutes ago, and this is what it looks like. Even though you might be at home, snugly in your bed, so I would suggest possibly putting it on either mute or vibrate if you don't want to get woken up in the morning, it'll send it out to you. And it's like a one call or something like that, or I can't remember exactly what they're using. And they're looking at transitioning from a different program that they're currently using to another program. But at least you get the information of saying, oh, that's interesting, that's cool. And then you are on the lookout, whether you're working or whether you're volunteering or whether you're doing anything. Like, you have people in the oil patch or in, driving buses, they see so much. It's like, oh yeah, I saw that on this day at this time going that way. So just that's
It's like getting a ping on any app.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the newest thing is happening now.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Real-time information. Yeah. Questions? Comments? I'm good for comments too.
How do we report if someone we see something happen? How do we report to the police right away?
Either 911 if it's happening right now and it's an emergency, or if it's not an emergency, the non-emergency line, 788-9221. Yeah, you just phone it in. That's how you.
92221?
9221, yeah. Yeah.
That's the local detachment, or who are we getting in that?
Yep. Yeah.
That gets 780.
Yep. If it's after hours, you're going to get Prince George.
Yeah.
Okay, because our phones get forwarded to Prince George. So, yeah. I was expecting a lot more questions.
So I know we usually end at 1. We're not tied to this room for a certain amount of to be out. So if anybody has extra time wants to hang around and perhaps fill in some papers or ask any more questions.
And I'll stick around too if you guys have individual questions.
There's an interesting program that actually kind of ties in with this through the BC Chamber of Commerce. It's called the Securing Small Business Rebate. And if you're a business here in the community and you've experienced vandalism, you can actually get a grant to help you repair that vandalism, which kind of ties in with the C.O.P program. Recognizing the increased cost to business due to property crime and vandalism in rural and urban communities across the province, the Ministry of Jobs, Economic Development and Innovation has launched a $10.5 million Securing Small Business Rebate Program, which will provide small businesses with funds for eligible commercial property crime and vandalism repairs, or to implement eligible preventative measures. The BC Chamber of Commerce, which ties in with if you're a member of the Chetwynd Chamber of Commerce, you're automatically a member of the BC Chamber of Commerce, will administer the rebate program and leverage its chambers and boards of trade and myriad of industry partners, including business improvement areas, to ensure businesses from every sector and region of the province are aware of the rebate. So the portal, the application portal is open, and so if you have experienced vandalism, you can get hold of me. I'll send you the information for the BC Chamber, and you can see if you can apply to get funding to help you repair that. I think it's $1,000.
That's really good information to relay to my victim services as well.
Send it along to you.
Thanks.
Yeah. So there's different things that they have to. You're required. You can't just want to be like, hey, I was vandalized, and they're like, cool, here's a bunch of money. There's a bunch of stuff that you have to go through, but they're keeping it relatively simple. Photos. That one of the things they brought up was newspaper clippings of the fact that your business has been vandalized, and I'm like, we don't have per se in some of the communities now. So they're looking at doing letters from fellow business people or neighboring businesses, etc. But if you're looking for information, you can definitely get a hold of me, and I will disperse that out to you. And I will send it all on to them.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah.
Yes. That's it.
We're hiring as well if you're interested. For being a real police officer. If you want to wear a gun, we're hiring. Legally.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
It's a great program, and we've seen it work. I'm sure many of us have seen it work in many other communities around the province and around Canada. So by all means, my whole thing is #support Chetwynd. So jump in and get involved. So everybody has a little red ticket in front of them, and we have a little door prize. One of our chamber members is Vitreo Minerals, and they gave me a whole bunch of swag that I've been wonderfully giving out. So we have a little Vitreo Minerals camping mug. So if your ticket number is last 3 numbers is 548. There you go. As a media person, I know how important coffee is. You're welcome. So thank you so much to everybody coming out. We host these luncheons every month. They are free for Chetwynd Chamber of Commerce members. They're $20 for guests. We haven't had marches planned yet, but keep an eye out on our Facebook page, bulletin boards around town to find out when our next luncheon is and what topic is going to be. So, and if you have a topic you would like to hear at a luncheon or would like to have a guest speaker come in and speak about, or a workshop or anything, by all means, let me know and we can make sure that happens. So thank you so much for coming out. And thank you for.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.